Sorry, I like Hayden's.
Dude, that's what I feel like this is a good segue, because naturally we have to the people are wondering our credibility to discuss NCAA women's volleyball. And as a student assistant for Case Western's team, my responsibility over the past week has been to upref both of our scrimmages, having absolutely no officiating certifications whatsoever. But
I did
they
that as
really
well.
liked the job I did. So
Yeah,
who's
I
really
did.
up and who's really winning at the end of the day?
I did the same thing, and I got told I did a really good job.
Nice. Good work, man.
Definitely had to call a double, and it was controversial. I'm not
You
gonna lie, but
can't. No, doubles aren't a thing anymore. Why did you
oh,
call
they
one?
got pushed over the net.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, if that's the case, dang, that's crazy. Yeah, I had to. I'm trying to think. I didn't have any crazy calls. The hardest part actually was when I was officiating our alumni match. And the coaches like outright told me to make calls in favor of the alumni, and so like I actually had to tell myself to make the wrong call on purpose to keep the alumni team in the game a little bit closer,
It's crazy.
which
Yeah,
was
I got surrounded by both teams at one point, and they were like, "You're calling our favor, right?" And then one of the players, who I will not name, pulled me aside and said, "How much is your gas cost?" And I was like, "I'll take it."
Gary.
this was YSU
It's
versus who?
It was YSU versus YSU. It was the red white scrimmage. So
Oh,
it
the
was
red
like,
white scrimmage. Okay, okay. So you refed. I gotcha. You refed
yeah.
the intra squad. We don't have one of those, interestingly enough.
Who
We
was
just
your
have an
scrimmages then?
alumni event, and then we played Lake Erie.
Oh, you had to ref an actual game.
I mean, yes, but it was also a
Hmm.
scrimmage, and I had a
Well,
down
yeah.
ref, which was nice. I did not have line judges, but I did have a down ref. So
No, I didn't. The only thing I had was one of the coaches was like, "I'll try my best to help you call nets," and I was like, "Thanks," because that's like the one thing I'm bad at.
it's tough as an up ref to call nets by yourself with no down ref is really really difficult because especially with no line judges, you're looking at seven or eight
You have
other
to,
things.
yeah.
Like I wish I was that good at it and could pay attention to multiple things at the same time, but shout out to the officials in the volleyball world because like it's not an easy job.
I'm beyond my intramural refereeing days, so
Hmm.
that's
Where
that's real volleyball refereeing right there.
like
Yeah.
quads are not even called. Like,
I mean, I've been saying this. Like honestly, I think upreffing at the NCAA, like at the higher levels, is so much more refreshing than upreffing. Like when I upreffed my like 18s club team that like played at the regional level in a lot of tournaments. Like you see girls that will go into the net every single time they jump up for the ball, or like when you do have to call doubles, like a set that's absolutely atrocious, just like your middles a lot of times at that level like can't even hand set a ball cleanly, and so it's just like it's kind of a breath of fresh air to call at like the higher collegiate levels because girls like actually practice proper technique, and so like the close calls you have to make more than anything are just line calls or touch calls rather than like having to call like every single illegal maneuver.
do you still have a fucking home phone?
Come on, Hayden, man.
What a fucking loser. Sorry, Aiden, you were rudely interrupted by.
Oh, it's okay. I was done with my talking point anyway.
Yeah, NCAA. No, I would agree though with that. I think refereeing higher level volleyball is so much easier and refreshing than having to referee like lower level. Just because it's cleaner, it makes makes making calls easier in my opinion.
Listen, I
Oh yeah.
couldn't imagine like reffing club tournaments because like I can like you're like when you're in college, you still get like fans that are gonna like chirp and say stuff that's like whatever. But like a lot of the times they're like at least somewhat it's not like super direct personal like blah blah blah. But when you're at the club level and you still have parents that are like so immature, so much other stuff, like they're gonna just make your job so much harder and
Dude,
so
those
much worse.
parents are miserable. They suck.
I refed soccer in high school, and it was just like youth, not like our youth rec league in the area, but it was like really big. Like we had from like U5s all the way to U18s, and like there was like 7, 8 teams in each division. Like it was big. The area had like 16 fields. Like it was insane. Well, I would ref U12s.
Hmm.
And to U14s, I think was the max I went to, but I didn't center ref. I was a sideline ref.
Yeah,
But
sure.
in one of my U12s where I head refed, a parent literally like stormed the field because of some clear foul or whatever. I mean, it was years ago, so I don't fully remember. And then the next game I refed after that, this parent I had to kick out because he was making fun of a special needs kid,
Oh my gosh.
like on the sidelines. And I'm like, and then he fought when like we were kicking him out, and like he just made it so much worse and miserable. And like I'm I've also went to um Boardman's game recently to help Becca out with some stuff,
Hmm.
and the parents were chirping so much, and it was just like if I was the ref, even though I think the ref was pretty good the whole time, like I would have been so annoyed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like at the collegiate level, like it's really coached into players. Like they're so much more mature mentally to where like they're not gonna let a bad call affect them. And they're like their parents are a lot more understanding of all of that. Because I mean, like when I'm in the crowd, every once in a while, like I'll make a joke or two where I'll be like, oh, bring back doubles, but like that's not even me yelling at the ref. That's just like me making a joke about a rule that like literally got changed 2 years ago.
Yep.
But yeah, well, with that, I think we can segue into the main topic for today, which is just kind of a preview of the NCAA women's season, with
Versus
Recap.
maybe.
games
Re-
kicking off this past weekend. You've got a lot more of the season in full swing. I actually didn't realize like how many teams were still playing scrimmages. Um, there were a lot of there were some games that actually counted, but then there were a lot of like scrimmages where you could kind of get like last looks at the teams and that type of stuff. And um, I think a lot of teams are going to see the court for the first time this week, and I'll be very interested to see how some of these early games in the non-conference schedule end up.
Can
Yeah,
we?
Louisville in particular doesn't play until the 29th. They play
Yeah,
on.
Nebraska already played their 2 games, but
Right,
it's
I was
like
about to
an
say Nebraska's played twice. They played Pitt and Stanford.
Stanford. I
They
was
did,
gonna
and then
say,
they've got Kentucky and Nashville, I believe, on Sunday. Yeah, a week from today.
yeah. What was I gonna say? Kind of topic, but not on topic, or kind of off topic, but on topic at the same time. From trying to watch Nebraska's both games this week, I've realized that one of the biggest problems I think with like broadcasting and stuff, half the games are all on different platforms that we have no like. They streamed on Fox Sports on against Pitt. Today, their Stanford match was on ESPN, not ESPN Plus like normal, like actual ESPN. I pay for the Spotify, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus bundle because I use all three frequently. Maybe not Disney Plus as much, but it's still in the bundle. But like, I couldn't watch it today because of that reason. And then some of their games are on Big Ten Plus. Some of the games aren't even streamed. It's like, why do we have the number one team in the country? And also, like, I'm sure Penn State and other colleges that are like the top teams this year have like 19 different broadcasting streams to play or to stream on. And I think that's just frustrating because I didn't
Yeah.
get to watch them play Stanford. And I heard Nebraska like whooped, like, this is the best game they've ever played or best like they've looked in 2 years. And that's
It would be,
exciting.
yeah, it would be nice for the NCAA to kind of like for volleyball specifically, both on the women's and men's side, to actually like hone in on one streaming service.
I actually
It
think,
would make
well,
it it would make it so much easier to follow versus having to bounce around and figure out where to watch what.
Well, I have inside because this problem is also kind of happening with YSU sports because of what I've like kind of learned recently, and like it's not it comes down to just each college individually and what they want and what contracts they have with certain people. Like YSU's contract with ESPN is like stupid. Same with like a lot of the other ones. So it's like Hawaii. I'm pretty sure Hawaii only has a contract with ESPN, so Hawaii's men's and women's only have that one streaming service. But like Nebraska, like I said, they're on Big Ten Plus, they're on ESPN, they're on Fox Sports, they're on Nebraska's own college live stream service. So it's like it comes down to that stuff. But I do think like I hope like because USA kind of did that thing with like the VNL and they streamed every single game on like what was it, Big Ten or what was it?
Oh, was it Peacock?
It might have been, but if I hope USA Volleyball like steps in and like talks to the NCAA and is like, hey, we should make every game available on whatever.
Yeah. I've heard that's especially bad this year, which is weird because I feel like it's been decently centralized through ESPN over the past couple of years. I remember like I got a lot of stuff through ESPN Plus last year. Like I feel like I remember when CSU had that big run in the Horizon League tournament to get to NCAA's, like all those games were available on ESPN Plus, and like I feel like a lot of the like mid-major conferences, that's where they end up living through. But yeah, it is really weird that you don't have that available on one service for even some of the biggest teams in the country. um
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of segueing into another topic with that too, like I feel like the commentary on a lot of these streams leaves a little bit to be desired. Like, I feel like it's good when you get people that have previous playing experience and, like, really know what they're talking about. But, like, you can also tell when you put someone on the podcast that just isn't very well versed in, like, the sport of volleyball in general. And, like, a lot of times it feels like they're making comments that, like, sound like they only watch the games that they're commentating and that they're not
Mm-hmm.
really interested in the sport outside of doing it. Like it just feels like there's not enough passion for it in the live streams, and I definitely like hope that that's something that can change moving forward as well.
Yeah,
I know
especially
with
with like you go.
the smaller games with like smaller schools, a lot of it is like the broadcasting programs or like the students that are in like the sports media or media marketing programs that are doing it. So I can see why that would be like kind of annoying having them do it just because of the inexperience. But I think I've never personally had a problem with like watching like ESPN Plus or like the bigger schools because their commentators I mean I've never seen they seem knowledgeable. I mean at times they might be a little monotone. And I would agree a little bit more excitement would be fine, but I mean I really haven't had problems with them like just simply commentating. I don't know. That's just me. That's my take on it.
I'm split between you two, so I 100. So what I was going to say was I was going to bring up the fact that like smaller schools have to like with how many unranked schools there are and stuff like that, and the on the women's side especially, it's like I get they're not gonna have like the top name commentators and like it's gonna be their students and stuff like that. But I mean, you're gonna get what you're gonna get. But I like disagree with what you mean because I think even some of the higher schools, like I don't want to bring up men's right now because men's just finished. But like the biggest thing I've like seen that comes to my head right now that just happened: Long Beach, UCLA, Stanford, all their games that I watched in the spring, horrible commentating. It just did not match at all. And you see a lot of that with some of the women's sides. Like the Nebraska Pitt game, they had I think she was new. No, maybe it wasn't that game. It was one of the games I watched that just happened over the weekend. Commentators were horrible, and it was like a top game. I don't think it was the Penn State Stanford game or whatever, but like it
Penn
just
State and Stanford played.
yeah, or was it Florida and Stanford? Wait, who did Penn State just play?
Penn
Wasn't it
State played
Stanford?
Creighton.
Yeah, Penn State played Creighton.
And then
Who did Stanford play before Nebraska? Was that Florida? No, that wasn't Florida because Florida
Florida
just
played Stanford, yeah, before Nebraska.
yes, because Florida also just played Pitt. Yeah, but like going forward,
Because
like
Florida
yeah,
beat Pitt.
dude. Okay, should we segue into actual games now? Because I would love to talk about Pitt right now.
Yeah, let's go chronologically. Um, and I mean, obviously, don't spend like too much time on each game, but
Mm.
let's just start with Pitt versus Nebraska, the
Um,
the opening game, first
I
series,
mean,
baby.
I can talk about it just because it's my team, but like, I think I think every team's first game is just gonna look a little either one-sided or like it's gonna just look bad. I think that's just how that's how it's going to be. Like Nebraska, again, ranked number one right now, and I think they rightfully should be. They played sloppy in the first set, came back and won. Second set, they played pretty steadily. Then the third set, they shit the bed. It was bad, horrible set. Fourth set, they came back, and I mean, it was close. It was 23-25 in the fourth set. So I think like teams are just gonna look like that. However, Pitt, I do not like Olivia Babcock, and I don't care what anyone says. As my hot take,
I think Pitt as a team, last
horrible.
year they kind of got away with it. I will say last year they kind of got away with it, but I think this season with the way that it was last year, I think teams are going to learn from it. They got to get away from not only feeding Babcock because they have another player. Let me look real quick. It's I don't know how to say her name. Dagmar Moritz, Dagmar Moritz.
Isn't she the outside?
I think yeah, she's the outside because Babcock's their right side.
Right.
Yeah,
Like they have to like even out their attacks because if Babcock's having a bad game, which like against Florida, she did not have a great game. 68 attempts, attacking
and
attempts,
23 kills. So
25 kills. She had 25 kills,
I thought it was
12 hitting
23.
errors.
So that's what happened against Nebraska yesterday. So I didn't watch the beginning of the set because I was at work or when they played at work, or I was at work when they played. But I was able to tune in when it was like 2020 or something like that. It was a very close game at the end of the first set.
Yeah.
Babcock got set. Absolutely, Taylor Lampford shit face roofed her, bro. It was nuts. I'm not gonna lie. They said Babcock the next play. She hits it out. They set her the next play. She gets roofed again. They set her the next play. She hits out. They set or no, she got dug and then Nebraska killed. And then she set her for the fifth time and she hit it out for game point. Or it was something in that mix, but she had five hitting errors or four hitting errors and then a picked up hit. And she was the only person that got set in those five plays. Started the second set. First point that she got to swing on, which was like the first or second point, hit it out. I just don't think that's good. Like I get Babcock is a phenomenal player, and she might be on the USA. I mean, she just played for the VNL. I'm pretty sure. Or yeah, she played. I think she played something internationally, and it was like the top stage this year in the summer. She's probably gonna start or like continue to be down that path. But she needs like Pitt in general and a lot of other teams need to kind of like spread out an offense. That's just my opinion, and that's why I don't like Pitt. That's why I don't like Pitt's coach either, because he, like, you could tell. I think some of the players don't like him. But that's just me.
I don't know. I would agree with that. I think a lot of teams need to spread out the offense more, especially Pitt being the big one, because like I think that's the reason why Babcock gets so much hate. It's just because they try to feed her so much. But she is a phenomenal player. But it's like you can't have a one man like team. Like you can't just feed her because, like I said, if she has a bad day, Pitt's gonna have a bad day, and it's just not something that's gonna work. Like when you're, I mean, her hitting percentage even against Nebraska. Like I know the more you're set, the more errors you're gonna make. Like the more opportunities you have to attack, the more errors you're gonna make. But if your team's relying on you that heavily, it's kind of like you have to be able to capitalize on your opportunities, and if you're not, it's not really her fault. It comes down to coaching, and it comes down to Pitt's team as a whole. But
I
I think
agree.
that's where their downfall is gonna come from, because
Yeah,
Pitt can be a good team. It's just the coach is not setting them up in a way that is gonna allow them to thrive.
I mean,
um,
I do think you need to give this Pitt team a little bit of time though, because like for perspective, I mean this is a team that lost a lot coming into this year, and
yeah,
like I mean they lost their libero in Emmy Klicka, they lost their setter in
Fairbanks.
Rachel Fairbanks, they lost both of their primary outsides last year, where Vasquez Gomez graduated, and
Didn't
then
they lose three players to the transfer
Corey
portal, like big
Stafford
ones?
transferred to Texas. No, is that correct?
I
I think
believe
that's
it
where
was
she ended
Texas.
up. But I
But
mean, she
yeah,
was a first team All American last year. Like she was phenomenal. So I mean, like yes, I think that it is important for an offense to not revolve around one hitter, especially when that hitter is an opposite, which makes it that much harder to like for them to be involved in every single play when the back set isn't always as clean of an open option as the set to the outside. But like with that being said, new setter, new libero, new outsides that weren't getting a lot of playing time last year. Like, of course, you're going to be really Babcock heavy your first couple of games, and I think that makes sense. And they learned that lesson. I mean, they lost again to Florida today in five. I don't know if
so
either of you saw that, but
no, I did,
um,
and I'm pretty sure it was Babcock or not Babcock. Who was it? Because I watched the end of it, or I didn't watch the end of it, but like I seen clips of it. So kind of like to go off of your point, I kind of disagree with it a little bit. I think because it's the beginning of the season, I think what they should be doing is they should try to be getting more of these people involved to you're going against Nebraska, which in my opinion, they have the two best maybe not two. Yeah, no, I'll high horse them. Andy Jackson's the best attacking middle. Rebecca Alec is a sleeper. Taylor Landfair is a also really great blocker, and now they have Virginia, who is a 6'5" Italian beast. She absolutely
she's played so well the first few games. She's looked
yes.
really really good.
You have some of the best blockers against you. You also have Lainey and Olivia, who are great defenders. Same with Bergen Riley. Bergen Riley is a really good setter, but also I credit her more for her like defense. Her defense is phenomenal. You're going against this number one team. It's not conference. It's the first game of the season. You should, in my opinion, be giving these freshmen that need to like go against this experience more chances than just feed your already all-star player. That's just how I see it. If this was if this was 20 games into the season and you need to feed Babcock because that's how your style of playing is, it's not going to work, but that's if that's what you need to do, do it. But from what you're saying, if you need to build and like give these freshmen and sophomores that haven't played enough, give them more. That's just my opinion. And I know you were going to say something, Xander.
Oh, I was just saying that I was agreeing with your take on that. I think if Pitt were to like if they're going to eventually change their strategy or their approach to how they play in these games, especially against big teams like this, I think now's the time to do it. Early season is not really the time to be relying on just like their one all-star primary hitter. I know they want to win games, and the coach might be thinking that that's how that's going to happen. But you look at what happened. They relied on her in both games. They came up short and they lost. So I mean, I like I said, it's Hayden. I agree with Hayden. It's the beginning of the season. They lost a lot of people. You got to give them some time to build. But you can't really build if you're feeding your right side the whole time.
I mean, I'll be interested to see how we see that team progress over the course of the season, because I really do think like those are things that you will take in the gym, and you will see like good coaches will work on that stuff in practice and will work on those connections. And like I don't know too much about Dan Fisher one way or another. Like um I mean I obviously don't have any personal connections with him or anything like that, but like I would anticipate after seeing what he saw this weekend, like I think we'll start to see that stuff get tested out a little bit in the practice gym, and then like I'll be interested to see if 3 or 4 months down the road we're still seeing those splits with that many attacking attempts going to Babcock. Because you're saying she had 25 kills against Nebraska on what was her hitting percentage?
I don't think
Her
she had
hitting
25.
percentage,
She had 25 against Nebraska?
I don't know. I
yeah.
thought somebody
So
said that.
I
no,
thought it
she
was.
had Olivia Babcock had 21 again. Yeah, had 21 against Nebraska. She had a 121 hitting percentage.
Wow. So, I mean, that means she's getting set what? Like, she probably got
She had
set
58,
50 balls? 58 balls that game.
and
Wow.
she had
That's crazy.
14 hitting errors.
What was the.
Yeah.
What can you. Are you looking at the team stats? Because this was a
I
stat
have
last year.
everything pulled up.
When you look at. Find the second player's hitting attempts.
For
Because
what?
the
Like figure out.
second most hitting attempts, who was it? And what was the number?
It
Because I'll
was
be.
it was Dagmar. I really hope I'm saying that right. Moritz. She had 28. So
Like,
Babcock had 30 more
that's. Because that's the same thing that happened with.
with a lower
Their
hitting percentage too.
their semi against Pitt or against Louisville last year. Babcock ended the game that five setter with like 60 plus, I think is what it was, and then their one outside, I can't remember which one it was, had like 30. So Babcock was swinging double what their outside was. And it's like Hayden said, it's easy, like most of the time you're going to always feed your out of system balls to your outside depending on, especially depending on like where Babcock is on the rotation and stuff like that. So they should not be hitting 30 less balls than Babcock as an outside. Just the way I see it. And like we said, beginning of the season, they can't be doing that. But yeah,
I mean, it's a crazy stat to look at. I will say that, but I mean, they'll we'll see. Like Hayden said, it'll be interesting to see how the season evolves with Pitt and how they kind of move forward. I would like to talk. Are you guys? Did you guys watch the Penn State Creighton game at all? The Penn
I
State team.
seen I seen clips. That's
Yeah,
all.
same way. Didn't watch the full game, but saw
I
highlights,
couldn't
saw
find
stat
it.
line.
Okay, yeah, no. Penn State kind of dominated that dominated that match. And now Creighton is, I think they're ranked 16th, I believe. I can double check on that. I can't really find it on here. Yeah, they're ranked 12th. So still a good team. They were a good squad last year. I remember when I watched them playing Louisville, I was nervous because they were kind of an underdogs, like the Black Horse um,
Creighton,
of
dude, I love
the
their setter. Creighton setter.
Creighton's. Is she graduated or is she still?
I think she graduated. I'm not 100% too sure because I didn't keep up with them, but they were a program I didn't really like pay attention to until I like that's the good thing about the tournament is that you just find a lot more programs that like you don't really pay much attention to, like Creighton's, and then not this year, but not the one that just happened, but the year before when Texas won it. There was an Arkansas um
Oh
outside that's like
yeah,
5'5", and she was low key such a dog outside. Like she was bouncing balls, and
Arkansas State, right?
I think so.
Wait, hold up. You're talking about, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name. I know it as soon as I see it. Jill Gillen, the girl for
I think
Arkansas.
so. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
so.
yeah. I think she was 2 years ago, right? Though she's been out of college for a couple of years, right? Because
Yeah,
It was
I think that's what
I mean,
Michael said.
I remember her
yeah. It
because
was.
she took out Kentucky in her last ever NCAA
Hmm.
tournament, and that was the first time she'd beaten UK in her career. But yeah, she played absolutely out of her mind that whole tournament. Like she was
Yeah,
fantastic.
cause
She's super fun to watch. I know at least last year she ended up on Columbus's Pro Volleyball Federation team. I don't know if she's still there anymore because their free agency is really weird. How they only have the 1 year contracts. So I don't know where she signed this off season, but like, yeah, she's so fun to watch. I'm a big Jill Gillen fan for sure.
Bro, looking at these Penn State stats, you look at their attack attempts, you have 16, 13, 32, 22, 26. That is so balanced. Like that is what a well versed, like a very diverse offense should look like. like Emmy Selman hitting 22. You have Caroline hitting 26. Kennedy Martin was hitting the most. She had 32 attempts. But like a 344 hitting percentage from Kennedy Martin, like that's solid.
Yeah,
You could learn a thing or two.
Penn State's gonna be a dog. I
And
mean,
that's coming from a D1 Penn State hater.
I don't hate Pitt or Penn
Me,
State.
me, I'm a
Oh,
D1 Penn State
oh, I
hater.
was gonna say I like
He's
Penn State.
you Penn
I
State
don't
here.
like Penn State.
There's a
What's your beef with Penn
specific.
State, Xander?
What'd you say?
He's a
I said, what's
Louisville
your beef with
fan.
Penn State, Xander?
Oh, I don't know if I can get into that on the podcast. That's
You know what I can? You know what I can get
that's
into?
a that's a touchy subject.
Oh, well, we'll
Xander,
have to
look,
have a conversation after the podcast
Okay, that
because
works.
I want to get to the bottom of the story.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm curious. I'm actually because
Xander,
I don't know how much we've talked about Penn State.
Xander,
Um,
look at your phone real quick. Just
Not
a
much.
just a 2 second glance. Hayden, I'll explain it after the podcast
Yeah.
too.
okay. Um,
But
I'm
sorry,
intrigued though.
Hayden, go say something.
Oh, um, I was gonna ask. They're running a 6-2 this season, aren't they? They'd have to
Penn
be if
State.
Martin and yeah, are Martin and Juravicius both hitting right side?
It doesn't
'Cause
look
you had Stark in a
like
5-1 last year, did you not?
Yeah, I don't think they would have. I don't think they would have Stark run a 6-2,
I
I
unless
know, but that's
Stark
another,
what.
Stark is definitely running a 5-1
unless
But
this.
so you said both Juravit. You said Caroline did play that game, right?
versus Creighton.
Yeah,
No, she did. She played.
yeah. So you have her and Martin at right side, and you
Well,
have
they might have switched it in between because Nebraska did the same thing. Like Nebraska played Virginia the first game, and then they played
mhm,
what's her name? They played the lefty blonde today. So
yeah.
I'm assuming that's what they're gonna do, and they're just gonna develop their bench like
Wait, you're
doing
talking
that.
about you said that Nebraska played who and then played
Nebraska the first game played Virginia in opposite, and then
okay, yeah.
today against Stanford they played a blonde lefty with her name starts with an A.
Okay.
It's what's her name? Oh my God.
Ali
Oh, Ali Sizek
Sheck.
or something. Yeah, and she was a dog today. Like our bench. That's what I'm saying. I think Nebraska's gonna have the best deep bench in the country.
Yeah. They
Penn
do have a
State.
lot of depth. And then you see like these position battles. I mean
Wow.
the you know, the at
What?
libero you have
Sheck
you
hit
know,
400.
Yeah,
25 attempts.
she ate. She did really good. I have an opinion about why, but it's controversial, so I don't know if we can get into it.
okay, interesting. But
This,
yeah,
this
I was
Go ahead, Adam.
Oh, I was just gonna say the position battles in Nebraska are so compelling this year too, where you have Mauk versus Laney for the libero position. You have like the one that not as many people are talking about either is at setter. Like I think that Bergen is just so good, and I think like she's like I would say she's a heavier favorite than either of the two for lib right now. But dude, Campbell Flynn is going to be an absolute problem whenever like Bergen ends up graduating. Like some of the clips
I
of her from high school are absolutely ridiculous, and like she's gonna be so good with that team whenever her time comes.
Yeah, my controversial opinion that I wasn't gonna say, but Loki I can say because it's not that controversial. Bergen's been struggling on her right side since last year, and I think the way she sets right now is I think she sets better for a lefty because like she tends to push the ball a little bit more inside, which lefties favor than righties in my opinion. So that's why I think what's it called? Ali did a little bit better, but also Virginia didn't even do bad, so it's like it's not even like a spot who did worse, who did
Mm-hmm.
what. Um, but Campbell, as a setter, from what I seen when she played the red and white scrimmage against, from Nebraska, she equivalently as like her skills phenomenal. I think a lot of her setting connections was fantastic for just coming in. I'd say the only thing that she doesn't have that Bergen has superior is her defense. I think Bergen's defense is like one of the best in the
Bergen is
NCAA
such a good
from a setter.
really solid
So
at the right
but
guard.
Allie's block and Allie being lefty, like she cranks dumps. It's crazy. But yeah, Nebraska's bench, I think, and they have DBK, who is known to use her
Oh,
bench really well.
don't remind
Sucks,
me.
dude. Who do you?
Seeing her on the Nebraska bench is like painful.
You know what though, and this is actually a decent segue because I like. So what is your allegiance to Louisville, Xander? Like, where do you why do you like them so much? Just out of curiosity. Because with
So
me, like since I'm from Kentucky, like I know a ton of people that are involved in their program, and like I root against U of L in every sport, but volleyball is the one exception to that because like I just want to see the game grow in my home state, you know?
yeah, so Louisville was never always volley. Obviously, it wasn't always volleyball because I only started just over a year ago. Yeah, I had to throw that in there. Um, it was my watching college basketball uh, growing up. My grandma was always like a Louisville fan. Not like 100% a Louisville fan, but always liked their men's basketball program. So it was a school that I was kind of like
Their worst
drawn
program.
to from that, and then from there it kind of came down to I started following their men's soccer program, and it was actually a school that when I graduated high school, it was one of the schools that I like wanted to apply to because I wanted to go to Louisville, but
Mhm.
that was before I got told that I wasn't allowed to go out of state. We won't get into that. So I obviously did not end up going there, but it was one of the schools that I really liked and had wanted to apply to. So when I basically learned about when I got into volleyball and was like, oh shoot, they have a women's volleyball program, like learned about them, kind of started following them, and was like, oh shoot, they have a really good women's volleyball
Yeah,
program. I was like, I think this is going to be my team.
yeah. So
So
that's
it's
cool.
like 75% history, 25% front running. So
I'm I am kind of curious how they're gonna do this year. I don't think they'll do as bad as what I've heard some people
I
talk
don't
about
think,
it.
yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of underestimating them. I think they still have a lot of good talent. They have a strong squad. It is a new squad. Obviously, they lost like De Beer. They lost, oh my gosh,
Elena Scott.
yeah, Scott. Thank you. They lost Scott. They lost,
Didn't they also lose their one middle?
yeah, they lost. I'm so out of the game because I mean I haven't been able to watch any of their games because,
Aiko?
well, Jones. Yeah, they did lose Jones, but I'm thinking of oh shoot, because they still have Cressy. Cressy's still there. Kara's still
Yeah.
Yes,
there.
they do still have Cressy. They still have
Oh my
Chacoin.
gosh.
Um. Yeah. Well, you're blanking out. I
It'll
do.
get once they actually actually start watching the games and they start playing games, then I'll get it. But I can't remember her name.
I can't either.
I'm gonna figure it
I
out.
don't
If
know.
you
I
want
don't
to
know who
talk,
you're.
I might intervene here in a second. But if you want to talk, you can.
Yeah. Well, I can talk a little bit about just the heritage of the U of L program. Because obviously being from Lexington, just being like an hour and 15 minutes away from Louisville. They are super super strong in the high school game. Like I don't know if you guys are familiar or knew any of this, but like typically the highest ranking teams nationally, like in the country for high school teams, are from the Louisville area. So you've got
YSU's new libero or one of the liberos that came in is from Louisville.
oh really? What high school
Who?
did she go to? Do you know?
I'd have to figure it out.
Okay.
Kennedy?
Yeah, it's Kennedy. I don't know what high school she went to.
Okay, because I was the big private schools down there that have done really well the past few years are Assumption and Mercy, and then Sacred Heart has some good teams that'll pop up over time
I was gonna say,
occasionally. But
why does
like,
Sacred Heart
As-
sound really familiar?
Assumption has been the
PK.
one that's been like the super big name.
That's who
Um,
it is.
who?
PK.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. How did we forget about PK? That's
I don't
so
know.
bad of us.
I don't know.
That's so bad of us. But yeah, like those high school programs and then the club programs at Kiva are huge. Like both Elena Scott and Anna DeBeer are local talents. Like I watched them, like, De Beer took us out of state my junior year, and then Elena Scott's team took us out of state my senior year. So, like, I got to watch, our high school team play against them multiple times. And Scott actually set all the way through high school because Eleanor Bevan was also on that team. And so she was the libero for them. And then they had Scott setting.
Hayden,
But
did you play in high school?
I played 1 year. I played my senior year was when they got a boys team.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
I actually dated a girl on our women's team like in the fall of my senior year, and so
I
I
yes,
know
I
the
that
remember
I
you
know.
talking about that.
that was why like that was definitely like a big reason why I knew so much about our program and went to the games and all that stuff. Like that was before
Or
I was really like invested in playing, but I just kind of happened to be there, and then like as I got more and more into volleyball, like I started recognizing these names of like, oh, we like these girls have gone on from where I saw them in high school to now all of a sudden they're like all conference players and they're all over social media and everybody's talking about them, and I'm like, that's kind of sick that I like watched them play for their high school teams.
That is dope. I didn't know that. I didn't realize you had that year of high school experience. That's cool
But
though.
yeah. Yeah, it was nice. We had a really good program when I was in high school because we graduated 5 or 6 girls my senior year that all went to play D1. And so, like, we didn't have the Power 5 names that Mercy team that beat us in state had because they had Elena and Eleanor. And then they also had, do you guys know Fallon Lanham, who plays at Auburn? She's, like, low key a big TikTok personality. Like, I definitely think she has a lot of followers on TikTok and stuff.
You said she plays
no
at
clue.
Auburn.
Yeah. Yeah, she's pretty
Well,
short for an outside. She's probably like 5'6", 5'7", but she jumps out the gym. Like she's
well, they'll
so
be
fun to
they'll be
watch.
playing U of L on the 29th. So
Okay, interesting, interesting. I don't know if she's still there. I don't know if she took a redshirt year because she was my year, so she would have, in theory, graduated in the spring. But
yeah,
it's very possible she's still sticking around playing there. I'm not 100% sure where exactly like she
we'll
ended
have to
up
see.
with all of that stuff. But yeah, like Louisville is a random hotbed for girls high school volleyball, and like getting Anna DeBeer and Elena Scott and keeping them local was obviously huge for that program over the past few years.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see where they go. I have high hopes, but that's as a fan should. So
Nah,
I
that's
mean,
I get that.
My lore is basic. When I got into watching, my really good friend Samuel McDonald, shout out Sammy, was like, "You should watch Nebraska," and I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Just the way the program is, history, blah blah blah, and they're really good." So I watched them, and I was like, "Yeah, they are really good," and I watched them the beginning of the season when I decided to root them was the year they went to the final. So it was like the class with Harper as a freshman, same with like Laney. So that's when I decided to pick them up. But like I like other teams. I'm not just like an only Nebraska player. Like I do like Penn State, even though we lost to them in one of the biggest chokes ever, and I cried that night. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough. We would have swept Louisville. Just saying. Um,
that was a fun game to watch.
You would have swept
dude.
them without DeBeer for sure,
Oh,
for
we would
sure.
have whooped you. I like Creighton now. I do really like their program. Obviously, I like Hawaii because I like Hawaii's men's team, so root both. Katie Lang was a fantastic setter. Loved watching her. Um, but yeah, so that's my lore. There's nothing special.
Yeah.
I don't have
Well,
history.
Well, yeah, I mean, we kind of got into part of it. Like I mentioned, obviously I'm gonna root for the hometown girls that like I watched a little bit of in high school and whatever. But my main team is definitely Kentucky. I mean, that campus was about 10 minutes away from my house. And they've been a fun program to watch. Like I'm not, I am a little bit of a gatekeeper when it comes to NCAA volleyball. Like I always got really mad at the people who were just like, oh yeah, I root for Nebraska or I root for Texas because like, you know, I got into watching volleyball and just they're good and that was the first team that I watched and so I was like I'm
I'm
like,
be
man, like shut up. You're not even a real fan. Like why, you're jumping on this bandwagon over here. I mean, that's like watching football and being like, I like Taylor Swift's boyfriend and then rooting for the Chiefs. But
I was
you
good
I
know,
with the
I
women's too.
do actually have to point something out because
okay,
I did mess up my story a little bit. The first team I actually ever supported was the YSU Gwins, and they are still number one in my heart. And it is
hashtag flippers
only
up,
because
baby.
my freshman year when I got into volleyball, I was like, I wonder how our team is because I knew they had a team, right? So me and Connor went to go watch one of their games, and we seen Paula, and Paula is a dog. So technically YSU was my number one like starting team. That was my
That
favorite.
should be a
And
no-brainer. You shouldn't even have to say that.
well, we gotta clear the air a little bit because as my title of this podcast, YSU's best practice player, I need to make sure I know what I'm saying correctly because
YSU will always be number one.
I might be booted. But
Sure.
yes, they are number one.
Yeah.
I
See,
hoping they win Horizon League. They have I think a really good shot.
They got a good squad. I'm excited
Yeah,
for them. We should talk about
wrap it
them
up.
next podcast
I'll have a belt.
after
I'll have
after a
two.
couple matches.
I was gonna
yeah.
say they play three
Two,
matches.
three,
They play two Friday, and then I think they play one
one
Saturday.
Saturday.
So we'll have two practices that I can talk about without spoiling secrets that they might have as their game plan.
Or
Because
don't talk about game plan stuff and just talk about the games.
it's exactly it. And then games. Because well, I can give some insider scoop that's not like super something. I don't know.
Nothing tactical.
Are any of those home
Only
games,
talk
Michael?
about fun stuff.
Oh, yeah, Friday and Saturday are home games, and I have to work Fridays, so I'm gonna sit there and go. There's four games on Friday I'm working.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna be best of three because it's like a tournament, but if they're all best of five
That's the
games,
invitational.
shoot me in the face because I do not want to sit through four best of
Who are the
five
other
games.
teams that are coming to that invitational? Just out of
Uh,
curiosity.
is it Duquesne, I think is how you say it?
Duquesne.
Duquesne, yeah.
Duquesne and
Duquesne.
literally
Duquesne. Is it
Duquesne.
Mercyhurst, Duquesne,
Yeah,
and
I
Mercyhurst.
forget their
That's what I was
D1
thinking.
now.
Can Canisius? I don't.
Canisius?
Yes.
Yeah. They're in New York, I believe.
Yeah. So those are the three. So yeah, they have the doubleheader on Friday, and then they have the one Saturday.
They
Okay.
play. I believe they play Duquesne and Mercyhurst on Friday, and then they play
Mercyhurst
Canisius
at
on Saturday.
Mercyhurst at I think 2, and then the other one at 7. If those games
Okay.
are streamed.
I think Mercyhurst is at 1.
You coming to the
I see.
7 o'clock game?
I could
Coming
be
to both.
interested, honestly. I could potentially be down for that.
Come on, Xander.
It's
You
nice.
gotta do it.
I'm off this weekend because
What?
the Case team is going on their
Come to
trip to
7.
California.
I'm
But
going to both.
Oh, you're off Friday?
I asked off work. I asked off work so I could come watch. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
going
so
to
nice.
You know what
I'm going
you
to the
should
gym
do?
in the morning, and then once I'm done at the gym, I'm heading up to YSU because I want to go
You
to
think-
the rec.
I was gonna say, you think we can get you another rec and we practice before?
Yes? Are you crazy?
Well, I have to skip. Well, I have class. But I'm about to talk to the dude and be like, since
What's
I'm,
time? You have class.
I have class at 11, or my class ends at 11, so that's why I would go straight from class to go work. But I'm talking to one of the like guys behind the scenes for like the replay stuff, and I'm gonna see if, since it's technically I'm sanctioned at a YSU event and going through that, if he can just like write me an excuse and I'll get out.
That'd be fire, because then I would love to go to the rec and talk to people and then get some reps in. That would be fun.
dude, like with the women's team or like just by yourself?
No, just like me and Michael.
Yeah, they
Oh, nice.
no.
I
If
could
any of the other
potentially,
guys are on
I could
campus, maybe
potentially
invite
come up
them
that
just so I
day
can
too.
see
I
them.
could easily get off of work on Friday.
If you can, I can show you where
If
to.
we can have a little
I can-
reunion, that'd be fire.
Yeah, and then we have to pay
Flip.
for Hayden to come into the rec center. It's
Flip farming?
15 effing dollars, bro.
That's fine. I'll pay it. I don't care.
You have guest
Yeah.
pass. I'm pretty sure you can use.
I do.
We'll get to that road when we get there because we
Yeah,
are
that's
running
true.
out
That's
of
true.
time.
We should
Yeah.
get back to the topic of conversation.
Well,
which
we
is
gotta
what
kind of
we're
wrap it up
all
because
about.
we're
Yeah,
at
we do need to
49
wrap it
minutes,
up.
and if we
Yeah,
pass an
So
hour,
what I was gonna say, I like I'll talk a little bit about UK because they're the hometown team.
Yeah.
And then I figured we could do like predictions for Final Four and winners of the Power Four conferences or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Just to kind of wrap it up. But yeah, so I up to this point I haven't really discussed my main allegiance in D1 women's volleyball, which is of course the University of Kentucky. The perks of going to a D3 school is that you can still root for your hometown team, and nobody cares because they're in a different division. I'm actually super, super excited about what we've got going this year, just because we absolutely raided Purdue in the transfer portal. We managed to get Eva Hudson and Lizzie Carr. We're both two huge, huge, huge pickups for us. I mean, we've still got another 2 years of Brooklyn delay, which is fantastic because she's already one of the best players in the country. Was she a finalist for AVCA Player of the Year last year? Maybe not quite, because who was it? It was Lexi, Babcock. Who were the other two?
Wasn't Franklin, was it?
I don't think so. Um,
Xander,
I don't know. I feel like
22.
Brooklyn might have been a finalist. I think she actually was one of the four. Um, but like, having her back, we've got a full year of Molly Tuzzo at libero,
Yeah.
which I'm super excited for because she really, really blossomed into that position towards the end of last season. I mean, Eleanor just kind of clearly wasn't the answer for us. I feel like I think we kind of knew that just based off of like she just never had that extra gear. Like there were a few tournament performances where I distinctly remember like it was either her freshman or sophomore year where we lost to like Illinois, which was a pretty big upset in the second round of the tournament, and like her service game completely fell apart. So I think the fact that we were able to move to Tuzzo and she did so amazingly well last year, like I mean, and she's doing all the work with Dustin Watton and like you know I think she has a lot of promise at that position, and I'm super excited to see her development because I really do think she can be one of the best liberos in the country. I am definitely like very interested to see what happens at the center position because losing Emma Grome is going to be big. Like that's without a question the biggest hole we're going to have to fill on the roster this year. Um, I think I mean, I guess we, just had the scrimmage against OSU yesterday, but I want to say we've got Sarafa starting for us at setter. I think. I think that was who our number 2 was most of last year, and I want to say she's like a sophomore or a junior this year. She's pretty young, but I think seeing her there and then just watching like what we can get at the O2 position because we've got a couple we've definitely got some interesting looks there between like Thigpen had a really good first year last year, but obviously we've got a lot of depth on the roster there. So, do we see somebody else take that position? Do we see her step into that role? But I don't have a ton of personal experience with Skinner, but I know a bunch of the guys that are like practice players for him and do other stuff with the team. And like, I definitely am excited about what, they're cooking in that gym because I think that UK is a team that not a lot of haven't been on a lot of people's minds since we won that national championship in the spring of 21. But I think that this is going to be a really, really strong season for us.
Okay.
This is gonna be. Every season's exciting.
Yeah.
And this one is no exception. So I think we're all kind of in anticipation of what's to come for the women's NCAA season this year, which means more content. So I'm excited for that because now we actually have stuff to talk about, which is kind of dope. So
True.
But yeah, I think we're out of time. So
Are we not giving our predictions?
oh yeah, let's give.
Let's just rapid fire them. Like
Okay.
maybe
So-
like a sentence maximum.
Okay,
How
so
biased can this be? Because like my team hasn't even played yet. Like I don't know. There are
You're
so many teams that.
Louisville's ranked 4, so theoretically you can say they make it to the Final Four. And then if you want to say,
yeah,
okay,
but,
I'll
like,
go off of mine
I'm
right
not
now.
putting Pitt in my Final Four, and they're ranked what, 3rd?
Okay, don't put Pitt. You're not biased.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go. So I'm not fully like just understanding. Not. I shouldn't say understanding. I don't know what leaders of each division are gonna go where in the bracket. Blah blah blah. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't know how the side of the brackets are gonna work.
Yeah,
Obviously.
just pick who you think your top 4 teams this season.
Penn State or Nebraska's gonna finish 1. Penn State's gonna finish 2. I guess Final Four. Final Four. Nebraska, Penn State. I want to say in low key, Florida. I think Florida because their new transfer or their new outside that got to see and Sammy talked about a little bit earlier today, and I watched
Were they
her.
even ranked?
Florida's 16th.
They're 16th. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's recency bias, but I'm here for it. So keep going.
Florida, and then YSU. So serious. We're making the run. I'm telling you, we're gonna do
I love
it.
that. I love that.
And
Go Gwins,
then
baby. Gwins to the moon.
I'm
Gwins
only
to the
gonna
moon.
s- I'm only gonna say the
Final
Final
Four,
Four
baby.
because
Final Four.
I can't say who's gonna win it because then I might actually get fired.
All
So
right.
that's my Final Four. But
Hayden, do you want to go next? Or
You
want
think
me to go
you think
next?
you'd get fired if you said that YSU wasn't going to win the national championship?
no comment.
Hey, Coach Riley's
Uh,
serious.
Xander, go for it.
So I'm probably gonna have to go because I'm gonna go with 3 good teams and then 1 dark horse. Not as dark as YSU, but still.
They're not a dark
Can't
horse.
say that.
This
They're
is-
the best team in America.
Yeah.
They're the best team in America. If Michael doesn't say that, he's getting fired.
I'm
Now, he
gone.
told us why that would get him fired because it would be their gym practice strategy. But
See, I'm not. I have no more obligations to them, so I cannot be fired or.
I hope the
released from
players
any
just
position.
hate.
So I'm probably gonna go Nebraska for sure. Truthfully, if Penn State can like keep their their current form, considering it's only been however many games for them, probably Penn State, Nebraska. I want to say Louisville, so we'll go Louisville. But we'll see how their first match against Auburn goes. Kind of see what that looks like, and then whoever they play next, I can't remember. I want to go SMU.
ooh, I kind of like
Honestly,
that pick actually.
I can respect it. Low
Not a
key,
team
also
we've talked about a lot, but they were some giant killers last year.
also UCLA. I think with the picks, UCLA got picked up. I think UCLA also might make it pretty far. Maybe like Final 8.
So yeah, that's my 4 for now. Well,
Hmm.
we can continue to update as we go. But Hayden,
Okay. Ooh, let's see. I mean, I feel like it's hard to pick against Nebraska and Penn State right now. I think both of
Yeah.
them are super strong schools. I think that they have some separation over a lot of the other, teams this early on in the season. They've got that depth. There's part of me that wants to go the 2 Kentucky schools because I think I could see it out of both UK and U of L this year. I mean, they're both ranked really high in the preseason. I really do think that UK has so much depth. Like, but between the pins, you've got DeLay, Hudson, Big Pen, like, you've got solid options filling in. You've got Tuzzo still. And I think U of L, like, that has that next man up mentality. Like, you have, every player that stepped out that was a key factor for their team last year, I feel like is getting somebody who is a very valuable replacement. So I'm gonna make the classic Kentucky boy pick and go with the 2 favorites and then the 2 hometown teams in the Final Four.
I love it.
Fair enough.
I like every bit of it. All right, well, those are our Final 4 picks. Obviously, we'll update that as we go and as the season progresses, which we are all very
I guess I'll
excited
save it.
for, and I will speak for all of us there. But we are out of time, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We are back though, right?
This close is gonna get lost.
We're
This
so
is-
back. We're
So back, baby.
Listen,
So, yeah,
to Juan Santiago, rest in piss. You will not be missed.
Dude.
hey, R.I.P. Juan.
But he'll be back on the next episode. Don't even
Yeah,
worry
he'll be back
about
for
it.
sure. All right, but yep. So yeah, to close this out, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell us how much you hate Michael and Hayden's opinion and how much you love mine. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you never.
Everybody hates you because you don't post. Sorry.
Make sure to like and subscribe to me, Caldwell.Hayden on Instagram.
Shameless plug.